USAZ Facebook page. And as Amanda was mentioning, Congress still debating even more help for small businesses that are struggling through this pandemic. It's the latest move to help all people survive financially. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin joining us live on the phone right now. And Senator Manchin, I know President Trump is saying Democrats are holding up this new legislation. What's the objection? Where does this stand?
He's absolutely wrong on that, Rob. And here's the thing. First of all, I'm appreciative for every dollar we get in the state of West Virginia to help us. But it has to be proportionate, and it has to be basically targeted to the areas we need help the most. Rural West Virginia, rural America is getting left behind. And I'll give you an example. The $30 billion that was sent out this morning for the health care, $30 billion went out to the health care, and that's all providers and hospitals, everybody. West Virginia got $246.5 million of that. That's less than 1% of the funding. You compare it to California, you got $2.9 billion. They're a much bigger state. I understand all that proportionally. But what's happening is we're getting nothing for Medicaid at all. So our children, basically, our children's hospitals get nothing because there's no formula. So I've basically suggested to the Trump administration they should use a rural set-aside, which we basically given them the formula that should be used. It's funding to prioritize providers such as us who have a disproportionate share of Medicare and Medicaid patients. We have a very vulnerable population base, as we know. Funding should be prioritized to providers who serve the most vulnerable patients.
Would that help us keep? Would that help us keep these local hospitals open, though? Would that help us keep these local hospitals open that have said they have to go out of business?
Would. Okay. I mean, right now they've got no money coming in whatsoever, Rob, because they can't do elective surgery. They can't do it just like businesses. If a business has its doors closed and all it has, or a restaurant, and all it has is just basically takeout, they're drastically reduced, and they're going to have a hard time surviving unless we get help to them. Now, the president, he's saying, well, the Democrats are holding things up. We're not holding things up. We're trying to make sure that there's a prioritization of helping those in need. The $350 billion already going to small businesses is barely coming to the rural markets. So we asked for another set aside out of the 250, 125 of that should be set aside for rural West Virginia, rural America, because our smaller banks and smaller institutions and smaller businesses, mom and pop stores, aren't going to get anything. They have a hard time getting in the system now. And Mitch McConnell, what he did yesterday was strictly a political ploy. He put that out when there should be unanimous consent. Unanimous consent means 100 senators, Democrats and Republicans, should have an agreement. We weren't even consulted. We had no idea what he was doing. He throws that out without saying, wait a minute, what about the rural hospitals? What about the rural areas such as West Virginia and the small businesses that can't even get into the system? SBA doesn't even have a procedure in West Virginia yet because Washington hasn't given it to them, the Treasury Department, of how to disperse the $350 billion. Don't you think there ought to be a process, an orderly process, in making sure you learn from your mistakes?
Well, I know that
this is not a time to play politics, Rob. They should not be playing politics at all. And if the Democrats were doing this, and if they would try to do something like this, I'll be raising Cain with them too.
All right. Senator Manchin, we do appreciate you being here with us. I know it's a busy time. Get back at it. We'll talk with you again. Thank you, Senator Manchin.
We're fighting for West Virginia. We're going to get our fair share.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.